Hello and a very warm welcome to the programme. First tonight, more on London's housing pressure and how to provide the affordable homes needed. Today we got a bit more detail on how the Mayor and the government plan to pay for this. The capital has been given £6 billion of government funding to build social and affordable homes over the next decade. The Mayor has welcomed the news, but campaigners are asking, is it enough? With more on our top story, here's Alison Earle.
A short walk from Kidbrooke Station is what ministers hope will be the future of social housing.
It's an example of what councils across London but across the country are able to do. We want council houses to be beautiful, well designed, have great placemaking, public realm.
Greenwich's major new development was the backdrop for the government's announcement of its programme to get councils building homes again. But the question is, how much money is London getting?
Confirmed, London will receive £6 billion to build more great homes like this. My promise to Londoners is 6 out of 10 of these new homes are going to be council homes, because there are too many Londoners living in temporary accommodation, too many Londoners living in overcrowded accommodation. Many Londoners can't afford to pay market value rents, and I know, as somebody born and raised on a council estate, the difference having the security of knowing what the rent's going to be.
Well, with pretty gardens, play areas and balconies, it's clear these new homes have been well thought out. But the question is, can more of these be achieved quickly? And are they what people want?
It's nice, and especially in the hot summer days, it was very nice and chill.
I've been here like 2.5 months now, so yeah, it's really good. The insides are really nice. The people that have moved in so far seem to be okay. Yeah, it's going good so far.
I like the look of it. I think it's helped to kind of liven the place up a bit, rejuvenate it. So yeah, no, I like it, and it's affordable as well.
A few miles down the road in Royal Arsenal, and there's more regeneration, this time privately built, but not everyone's as impressed. Is it the right type of housing that you want to see around here?
Not really, because it's not for the working class, because the rent's very high.
The average flat to buy for the real is about $500,000. And how many people can afford that? So, although it looks like it's going the right direction, it's like it's trying to house all the people, the local people in the area.
The most recent figures show more than 25,000 people in Greenwich are on the waiting list for a new home. That includes more than 7,500 children.
It starts with government focusing on where the priorities need to be, and fundamentally for a very long time I've said that has to be council and social housing, especially for those stuck in temporary accommodation at the moment.
While Greenwich is trying to bring the numbers down with new builds, the challenge for them and others is doing so fast enough to meet demand and ensuring it really is affordable. Alison Earle, BBC London.
And our political editor, Carl Mercer, joins us. So, Carl, key question, do the numbers stack up?
They stack up in as much as the government have said they're going to give London £6 billion, so we know that's going to come. We don't know yet how that's going to be spent and in which particular areas and how many houses that's going to build. But there are a bunch of statistics that we can look at which will point to the scale of the issue, actually. So if we look at some of the numbers, the government reckons that London needs to build 88,000 homes every year to keep pace with demand. The Mayor's new London plan, which has just come out, has said that London can build 56,000 homes every year. So there's a bit of a gap there. And then if we look at what the London actually built last year, that was just 31,000 homes. So a lot of gaps there. If we look at the affordable housing situation, which is where this focus is from the government money, it tells an even worse picture. Back in 2022-23, London was building 26,000 affordable homes every year. Last year, that had dropped to 4,500 homes. As you can see up on your screen there now, a big difference in those numbers, so 20,000 short of what it was building. So 4,500 last year, which led the government actually to move forward and change the rules a little bit last year, saying that the quota of affordable homes in London could go down from 35% to 20%. So there have been a lot of moves from government, a lot of targets set, but not many of them met at the moment. OK.
Well, despite all those figures, there are wider issues, aren't there, when it comes to housing?
Yeah, there are. I think handing responsibility to councils might be an issue because they've not been used to building that level of housings, and we know that there are problems within the industry itself. Industry costs have gone up, housing associations and private developers are saying we can't afford to build, certainly not just affordable housing, because we need to put private housing in there as well so we make our money back. Materials costs have gone up, and really there aren't that many firms that can build that many homes that quickly. So lots of issues, not just for government, but for the industry itself. So kind of setting targets, probably the easiest bit, hitting them an awful lot harder.
OK, with your analysis there, as always, Carl, thank you very much. Our political editor, Carl Mercer. You're watching BBC London. Lots more ahead, including this.
I'm in Essex finding out why Cuthbert the Crow insists on visiting this home every day.
To a story now that's been developing this afternoon. A young man has died after being stabbed in Wembley in a building housing Brent Council's headquarters and a library. The victim, thought to be a teenage boy or a man in his early 20s, was pronounced dead at Brent Civic Centre. A murder investigation is underway and a Section 60 order is in place which grants police extra powers to stop and search people and vehicles in the local area. And you can find more on that story and, of course, the latest updates on our website. Just search for BBC London online. The relatives and friends of a family of 4 from London who died after they got into difficulty in the sea at Shoreham say they've been left traumatised and has left the community shaken to its core. Speaking to the BBC exactly a week after the tragedy, a family spokesperson says a fundraising effort has raised tens of thousands of pounds for what he called an unimaginable tragedy. Christy Reedy reports.
It was meant to be a fun family day out at the seaside in Shoreham, but instead it turned to tragedy. Family and friends are still processing what happened here a week ago. Speaking to the BBC, a spokesperson for the family say the whole Palestinian community has come together.
The Palestinian community and the Palestinian Forum has been very shocked, and the first reaction was an utter shock in the tragedy that has happened to the Hawass family. We have swiftly moved from the shock into trying to support the family and stand with them in this time of tragedy as much as we can.
After getting into difficulty in the water, a huge emergency response was launched. But it wasn't enough to save Hassan El Hawass, Zaina Alan and 14-year-old Sarah. 6-year-old Saja was left in a critical condition and died 3 days later at the Royal Sussex County Hospital. Every one of these people have drowned after getting into difficulty in the water, all of them young and healthy. Brighton student James Clark drowned 21 years ago. His mother Andrea is now leading a group of grieving parents whose loved ones have drowned.
I was horrified to discover that we don't actually have a government minister whose portfolio is specifically related to water safety and drowning prevention. But as well as that, I think it needs to start with education and children being made more aware of the dangers of innocuous looking water.
While others insist legislative change is essential.
So what we're calling on the government is to take government-led policy action because there is no water safety duty at the moment. So implementing the recommendations from the 2019 review would be an important starting point. And also there's now guidance from the World Health Organization that was published last month, guidance for governments on how to prevent drownings.
A fundraising page for the family who've lived in the UK for many years, set up 2 days ago, has already exceeded the target of £20,000.
The reason the money is going for now is to send the deceased back to Lebanon, back home, and allow their family and their relatives to see them for the last time and bid farewell and allow them to rest there in Lebanon.
In Shoreham today, the community is still coming to terms with what happened here a week ago.
I'd sit up here for him, but since then I come down now and make sure I'm right in front of him.
You can see the outpouring of love and solidarity and compassion, and that's really heartwarming to see that.
It's It's just a horrendous tragedy, and especially the little one that died in hospital afterwards.
Today, a government spokesperson said our thoughts are with the families and friends of all those who've lost loved ones. 7 days on, and the ripples of this tragedy are still being felt. A young family whose young lives were taken far too soon. Chrissy Reedy, BBC London.
1,500 bus drivers in North London and Essex are striking again today over their working conditions in hot weather. Drivers are walking out for 4 days, with the Unite union saying some bus cabs can reach up to 40 degrees. The bus operator, Arriva North London, said that the well-being of staff is its top priority. Well, Anna O'Neill is in North London for us with more details. Anna.
That's right, Riz. It's been a bit of a nightmare for people trying to get around this area of North London on public transport. The Piccadilly line behind me is closed for engineering works between today and Thursday. And as you say, there have been very few Arriva buses running because of that strike by bus drivers over hot conditions in their cabs. You can see a couple of buses behind me. Not everybody is striking. And also there are rail replacement buses running for the tube. But lots of drivers have been striking here at Wood Green bus garage opposite, and I've been talking to some of them this afternoon on the picket line. These drivers behind me here at Wood Green bus garage are some of 1,500 on strike from today until Friday, and it's all about the temperatures in the cabs. Last summer I tested the heat inside some drivers' cabs with an air thermometer. 36.3 in your cab with the window open. So how hot do you think it is?
It's 30.
It's 37.8 in your cab.
I know.
With 5 recent heat waves, this summer has been even hotter, and so have the drivers.
Sometimes I have to take little stops. I let the passengers know, guys, I can't continue. I'm sweating. I need water. I'm feeling dizzy. You get really dehydrated, and it's busy. It's London. I do Wood Green High Road, so you can imagine it's very, very busy.
You're worried because obviously you've got a lot of people under your care at that time. You're trying to get them to where they've got to be in the best conditions you can. You're seeing them fan themselves, and you know they can get on and off, but you can't.
If it's 35 outside, it's reading 40 degrees inside the bus. You got a fan, but the fan is no good. What's the point? Because the fan is just blowing the hot air. We've been promised this from last year that the bus would be sorted out for 2026, and we ain't seen no movement, no improvement. So, as far as I'm concerned, we're being let down.
Previously, they were given promises about 2.5 years ago. They weren't fulfilled. We had no change, so the guys don't feel that there's going to be any change unless they press them for confirmed dates and confirmed details. What we need is an actual time frame for getting air conditioning on the buses, and then short-term fixes. Without having just open-ended timescales, there needs to be some firm times and dates that they're going to get stuff done for us.
In a statement, Arriva told us measures have been introduced this summer to help drivers cope with extreme heat. And they also say we're investing in air conditioning upgrades for drivers' cabs across our London fleet. Whatever the solution is, it can't come soon enough for these drivers. Anna O'Neill, BBC London.
Well, how we work and live in our changing climate is something we're all thinking about, including how we use water. And the message from scientists is that will have to change. They say the unprecedented hot and dry weather means it will take months of sustained rain to bring an end to the drought declared in July. Well, with more, here's our environment correspondent, Tom Edwards.
At Hampton Court Palace, the gardens have been badly affected by the drought and the heat waves.
It's difficult right now. I get the feeling we're in uncharted territory. I've never felt so uncertain about the future in historic gardens and landscapes as I have now.
London's greens, parks and commons look more like deserts. But is there an end in sight to the drought? The bad news is it could take months.
Myself, with a lot of other water companies, are looking forward to when the rain does come, because it does ease the position somewhat. But until that happens, it's really difficult to say how long it'll go on for.
London and the South East is actually what experts call water stressed. This reservoir in Essex is struggling Elsewhere, they're at about 75%, lower than they should be at this time of year. Behind me is usually a very deep pond, but as you can see, it's completely dried out. And London and the southeast is more susceptible to drought because there's a large population and it's actually quite dry, not much rain. And experts say we're going to have to completely change how we think about water. The drought in 1976, when there were standpipes in the streets, came after a very dry winter. If there isn't a period of sustained rain, then there could be more restrictions next year. Long-term investment in fixing leaks and new reservoirs will be needed. Another unknown is the increase in data centres.
We need to be able to improve the supply of water, and that will be making sure that when we have these very wet periods that we're catching it and storing it for the dry periods that come after that. But of course, we also need to reduce our water demand. As individuals, we have to look at our gardens perhaps and what we've been doing for the past 10, 20 years in the sort of past climate, we might not be able to do anymore.
With a warming climate, hotter summers and more heat waves, we will no longer be able to take water for granted. Tom Edwards, BBC London.
Meanwhile, one London borough says the last 24 hours have been a race against time to save fish in a 60-acre lake. It's after fish began washing up on the shores of Ruislip Lido yesterday. Hillingdon Council says it's now working with the Environment Agency to save the remaining stock. Our reporter Matt Graveling has been finding out more.
It's been enjoyed by families for generations. A 60-acre lake located in northwest London. And while Ruislip Lido is a hotspot for biodiversity, it's the heat that has now threatened it. Yesterday, the bodies of fish began washing up on the shore. Hillingdon Council say it was a race against time to save the remaining fish.
At that point, we got in contact with the Environment Agency, who informed us that there'd been an oxygen crash here at the Lido. That's due to this sustained period of hot weather, but then actually the overnight seeing cold weather, which has had an impact on some of the algae and has caused an oxygen crash. We haven't seen an oxygen crash like this since 1983.
Peter said the water's oxygen level went down to 20%, a fifth of what it should be, and dozens of fish were seen floating on the water. Fishing has been temporarily stopped at the site. The Environment Agency put 3 aerators into the water to pump in oxygen. They say that the drop in oxygen was caused due to a recent algal bloom which is now dying off, but that their fisheries officers will be back in the coming days to test the oxygen levels.
We're going to see in the next couple of days the impact that has had, but we are already seeing positive signs where we're seeing less fish on the surface, and we're also seeing them not gasping for air as much and going back into the water, which is a telltale sign. But the next couple of days are incredibly important to make sure that the fish here at the Lido are safe.
This site sees almost 1 million visitors a year, and there's no swimming at any time. But the council say this reminder to the public is now more important than ever. Matt Graveling, BBC London.
Now to an unusual tale of a crow who's formed an unlikely friendship with a bull terrier after being rescued and nursed back to health by the dog's owner in Chelmsford. She's now hoping to turn the story of Cuthbert the crow into a children's book to help animal charities. Our reporter Laura Foster has the story.
Crows are clever and curious creatures. Right now, Cuthbert is into jewellery.
This is your favourite, isn't it? Yeah.
He's got a lot more energy than he did back in May.
I heard this squawking noise and looked down and saw this little bird that was covered in dirt, and he just looked really sad and desperate. So I picked him up and sort of wiped some of the dirt off of him, tucked him inside my top and brought him home.
A wildlife charity gave her advice on how to nurture him back to health. As he grew stronger, he became friends with Vanessa's dogs.
He loves the dogs. He's particularly fond of Mildred.
When he was strong enough, he flew away into the wild, but comes back to visit Vanessa every day.
Hopefully, in the nicest way possible, that will reduce over time.
The biologist Ben Garrard has been looking after an injured crow and filming its recovery. He says, just as Vanessa did, wildlife experts should be contacted if you spot one. because taking care of them yourself can be dangerous.
We've grown up with films like Bambi and other Disney films where it's always wonderful to fall in love with wild animals, and they're sweet and cute and all the things that they're probably not actually. So in the wild, crows clearly don't go towards dogs. So it's something that we shouldn't really be encouraging, as sweet as it is.
We saw Cuthbert behaving like a wild bird, hiding food in the ground from other animals. But he also still insists on befriending whomever he meets.
In the world that can be very dark and very depressing, that he's brought a bit of light and a bit of joy. And if he went and he never come back, then that's meant to be his journey.
Though someone would then have to explain Cuthbert's absence to the dogs.
You heard it here first, in case Cuthbert comes to a garden near you. Now, it has been a sunny summer's day out there, but are we expecting some rain soon? Well, with all we need to know, here's Kay with the forecast. Good evening. Well, we've had some fabulous sunrises and sunsets recently. We've had some lovely blue sky yet again today. A little bit of cloud first thing this morning, but most of us have been basking in the sunshine yet again. Now, you may have noticed that the leaves are turning a little bit brown. It's looking a bit autumnal, really. That is due to the lack of rain. So looking autumnal, feeling quite summery. Had those temperatures back up into the mid-20s today. So we are desperately in need of some rain, and we've got some of that on the way over the next couple of days or so, but they are in the form of hit and miss thunderstorms. Got a weather warning in force, that's for tonight and tomorrow. If you catch one of these thunderstorms, they're going to be on the lively side. Now, high pressure is moving away to the north, and that is allowing low pressure to sweep in to southern areas, and that is what's bringing us the rain, and in the form, as I say, of thunderstorms. But for the time being, well, it's pretty quiet for the rest of today. We're staying dry and clear into the evening as well, but it's through the early hours of the morning we'll see the cloud increasing, and we've got a line of fairly heavy rain pushing its way in into the early hours as well. Now, most of that will clear towards the end of the night, but it's going to be quite muggy tonight, so minimum temperature down to around 14 or 15 degrees. Now, tomorrow morning, some of us still with some of that rain first thing, particularly across the eastern parts where it will be heavy and possibly thundery, but it does clear away quite quickly. Now, behind that, we'll see the skies brighten up again, so we'll get some nice sunshine for most of us, but you can see what's going to happen. We're going to see some of these thunderstorms kicking off into the afternoon. They will be quite isolated, but yeah, if you catch one, very heavy indeed. And those temperatures back up into the mid-20s, so 25 to 27 degrees. Now, as we go on into Thursday morning, more of that rain starting to push through, but it does clear away. And then after that, the rain a little bit more fewer and further between in terms of the showers, and those temperatures a little fresher as well, 22 Celsius. We have to remember we need the rain, and that is where we leave you this Tuesday. More stories, of course, on our website, including, if you missed it, why cracking clay is causing train troubles, and over on our Instagram, how the Tube network has become the unlikely instrument in one composer's latest piece. You need to head there to hear it. From all of us on the team, thanks for watching, and do have a lovely evening. Bye-bye.